My name is Emily. I was 13 years old when my mother remarried. My father had died in a car accident when I was just 8. For years, my mother struggled alone. She worked 2 jobs, cried herself to sleep many nights, and still managed to keep a smile on her face for me. When she introduced me to David, the man she wanted to marry, I tried to be happy for her. He looked charming. He dressed well, spoke kindly, and always brought me small gifts. Everyone said, "Emily, your mother deserves happiness. David will take care of you both." At first, I believed it. But I had no idea that behind his smile was a darkness that would soon destroy everything inside me. Sometimes, the people who look the safest are the ones who break you the most. The first few weeks after the wedding were fine. David cooked us dinner sometimes, told jokes, and made my mom laugh like a teenager. But slowly, his behavior started changing. He became controlling. He didn't like my mother talking to her friends. He started checking her phone. If she came home late, he accused her of meeting someone. Worse, he began treating me differently. The warm stepfather smile faded. Instead, his eyes became cold whenever Mom wasn't around. He would scold me for little things. If I forgot to turn off the light, he shouted. If I didn't say thank you loudly enough, he mocked me. At night, I would hear my mother crying behind their bedroom door. But the next morning, she would pretend everything was fine. I realized something. David was not the man he showed the world. He was a stranger with a mask. One evening, my mom had to work late. It was just me and David at home. I was sitting at the dining table, finishing homework, when he came in. His tone was harsh. "Why are you wasting electricity with so many lights on? Do you think money grows on trees?" I apologized, but he slammed his hand on the table, making me jump. His face came close to mine, his voice low and threatening. "You think you're a princess? You think you can live here for free? Remember, this is my house now." I stayed quiet, terrified. When Mom came home, I wanted to tell her, but David suddenly hugged her at the door, kissing her like nothing happened. And my words died inside me. That was the first night I realized I couldn't trust him. Abuse doesn't always start with bruises. Sometimes, it starts with fear. Over the months, David's cruelty grew. He criticized everything I did. If I got good grades, he said it was luck. If I helped with chores, he called it too little. Once, he threw my school project in the trash, saying it was garbage. I cried all night. I tried telling Mom, but she always said, "Emily, he's just strict. He wants you to be strong." I wanted to scream, "No, Mom. He doesn't want me strong. He wants me broken." But she never saw his true face. He made sure of that. The hardest part of abuse is not the pain, it's when no one believes you. One night, when Mom was working the night shift, David came to my room. I was in bed, pretending to sleep, when I felt his presence. He sat on the edge of my bed. My heart raced. His voice was soft, almost fake kind. "You should be grateful I let you stay here. Your mom and I could live alone, you know. But I'm generous." I stayed frozen, praying he would leave. But he leaned closer. His hand touched my blanket. My body stiffened with fear. That night, I understood the real dark truth. David didn't just want control. He wanted power. Power over me. I felt unsafe in my own home. When home becomes the scariest place, where do you run? After that night, I avoided being alone with him. I stayed longer at school. I joined extra clubs. Sometimes, I sat in the library until closing time. But no matter what, I had to return home. And home felt like a cage. David became more careful. He never showed his darkness in front of Mom. To her, he was the perfect husband. To me, he was a nightmare. I wrote in my diary, hoping someone would someday find it. I wrote, "If something happens to me, it was David." But I never found the courage to show it to Mom. Hook, some truths burn inside us, louder than screams, but still unheard. One evening, Mom and David argued in the living room. I heard Mom shout, "Stop controlling me, David. I'm not your prisoner." For the first time, she was standing up to him. Then I heard a loud slap. I ran out and saw Mom holding her cheek, tears in her eyes. "Go to your room, Emily," she said quickly, not wanting me to see. But I had already seen. The truth I had lived with alone was now hers too. Hook, abusers can hide their face for a while, but masks always break. After that fight, Mom grew quieter. I could tell she was afraid of him too. One night, while David was out, I finally told her everything. My voice shook, my tears wouldn't stop, but I told her, the shouting, the threats, the way he came into my room. She went pale. At first, she didn't speak. Then she hugged me so tightly I could barely breathe. "I'm so sorry, Emily. I should have seen it. I should have protected you." That night, we made a plan. We were going to leave. When silence breaks, strength begins. The next morning, while David was at work, Mom packed a few bags. My heart was racing. Every sound felt dangerous. We walked out of that house, leaving behind clothes, furniture, memories, but also leaving behind pain. We went to a women's shelter. For the first time in years, I felt safe. David called my mom's phone dozens of times, but she never answered. He even came to the shelter once, but security stopped him. Slowly, we started building a new life, just the two of us, free from his darkness. Hook, sometimes freedom isn't winning, it's simply escaping. It's been years since then. I'm older now. But the scars remain. I still wake up some nights, sweating, hearing his voice in my head. I still feel fear when I hear heavy footsteps behind me. But I also feel strength. Because we survived. Because my mom finally believed me. Because I found my voice. I share my story now, not for pity, but for truth.